Today is the first Thursday of Advent, a reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who builds his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and buffeted the house, but it did not collapse. It had been set on solidarily on rock. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not act on them will be like a fool who builds his house on sand. As children created in the image and likeness of God, we must be willing to follow his advice. By listening to God's advice, it ensures that we are prepared to enter life and into the Lenten season of giving. Although it might not be obvious to some, God is communicating with us every step of the way. Through communication, we find success within ourselves, which leads to a feeling of contentment. What is contentment for one person might be completely different for someone else. That is why you cannot be afraid to stand out. Stand out by doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching you. Listen to God's subtle hints and choose kindness. It will go further than one might think. This is reminiscent of building on sand versus building on rock. The house built on sand represents a divergence from the Lord. Meanwhile, the house built on solid stone represents a strong faith.